When God is speaking, listen. He's always having our best interest at heart. Sometimes it might look like it's difficult. You just pause me. If I am sad now and I jump on teaching, in fact, at a point it became like therapy for me. When I'm not feeling too cool, I just look for someone to teach, or I just go on live and start teaching. By the time I am done, so perfect. It's not just about the money for me.
No.
About that impact. It's about somebody coming back to say, you know what, that thing that you taught me that time, or that thing that you did that time really helped me. Most times it comes from the outside. Well, you talk too much. You're a girl, don't be talking like this, you know. Are you quiet or were you silent? I wanted to be silenced at the point. But the more I try to be silent, the more I can't. Give people for free what we are monetizing. How dare you? Said I'll go back to God. And I will ask him again, did you send me this book I'm doing? If God tell me that he did not send me, maybe I'm the one that is just sending myself. Sincerely, I will honorably drop this thing I'm doing, because at this point I am tired. And you know one thing about God is that he's so consistent. I was in a bad place for months. In fact, I had to shut down on social media. I could not even show up on social media for almost 4 months. I was just in a bad place. Maybe I've been doubting before. I am not so sure before. At that point, I just knew that God is in the story. And you know, God said we should hold him by his word. We should prove him wrong. I now vivid. I told you, I said, God, you see what? You know what? You asked me to go on. You said, no problem. It's my testing period. It's my process period, learning period. No problem. But you know what? This 2024, last time I'm giving you. If this doesn't work this time around, I'm not doing it again. I'm done. I am done for you.
Welcome to the Mountains of Influence podcast. My name is Abimbola Oliyide. On this podcast, we dive deep into the insights, experiences, and wisdom of kingdom-minded professionals to uncover the principles, challenges, and faith-driven strategies that have guided these leaders to not only excel in their field, but also use their influence for a higher purpose. We explore the theme, deployment to domination. And for you, the listener, this means you have access to invaluable lessons on navigating your own career with purpose, overcoming obstacles, and discovering how to integrate faith excellence in your professional life. And today, I have with me Omobabinrin Adeola Osideko, MSc, FCCA, CPA, a trained accountant in Nigeria, Canada, and United Kingdom. She is a graduate of University of London, where she obtained her MSc in accounting. Adeola is an international speaker who has spoken in different countries, both online and offline. She is the licensed organizer of TEDx Bingerville, and she has successfully organized the TEDx event in Bingerville, a city in Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire. Adeola is the founder of the iconic brand Africa, an organization leading Africans progress by fostering a culture of learning, recognizing excellence, and promoting professional collaboration. She is an author who has written 6 published books and 17 ebooks, and has trained over 10,000 people in personal development and branding. Please, if your hands are not too busy, help me welcome Adeola to the Mountains of Influence podcast. Welcome, Adeola, to the Mountains of Influence podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope you're doing great as well.
I am excellent, thank you. And your smile is so radiant, and I love the fact that we are swimming on yellow today. It's going to be a very happy episode.
Yes.
Welcome on board.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And we just dive right in. What does influence mean to you?
Okay, for me, influence is the process of having impact on other people or having effects on something. So it can be human being having effect on another human being, or something having effects on a human being. So basically, influence is just having an effect on something that has the power to shift your mind, to make you take some action, something that is capable of making you to do something that ordinarily you wouldn't have even want to do. So influence is that powerful. It moves us from where we are. There's a shift, So when you see parents telling their children that don't work with that guy, don't work with that boy. He will have a negative influence on you. That means that even if that boy is a good person, even if that boy has all the moral education, the Christian education, the godly, education at home, by the time the boy start working with another person, unconsciously, he begins to pick some of the things that that other person is doing. So that is how powerful the act of influence is. So influence is when you take decision just because something is rubbing off on you. So influence basically is having impact or an effect on something.
Amazing, amazing. And I love the word shift. Anything that causes you to make a shift is an influence, no matter what it is. Once you are able to make a shift in something, whether in your thinking, in your dressing, in how you approach life, that is an influence. That was beautiful. Now, we have read your beautiful bio, and there's a whole lot of achievement there, and that was even like an abridged version because I had to keep it short and straight to the point. But then, who is Adeola? Tell us about yourself. What's your story of deployment to domination? Where are you coming from? How did you arrive here? That just give us the perspective of, because somebody is listening and saying, one of those people that went to school in London, they are rich people, oh, that kind of thing. Somebody is thinking like, accountant in Canada, accountant in UK, accountant in Nigeria, those ones are big people, oh, but there is a story behind everybody. So can you just break it down for someone out there to understand that, look, no matter what you think is in my bio right now, I have a background that can also inspire you.
Okay, two things got me to where I am right now. Two things. Number one is that I love teaching people. When I know something, I want to teach you. Even if you are not interested, I will force myself to teach you. I remember when I was in the university, I will call people together and say, let me teach you this course. Even if you are not interested. I remember going to someone's house to even go and teach her. Unsolicited teaching, oh. And she kept me waiting in the living room for almost 2, 3 hours. I was just sitting
Wow.
there. This lady just kept saying, I'm coming, oh, sorry, I'm coming, oh. And eventually I just look at myself and say, who even sent me message? And it's that bad. I always want to
Oh,
teach people when I know something. It's like there's something
wow.
that is just burning inside of me. Once I know something, I'm always looking for someone to pour that thing into, because I believe that if this helped me, if this has impacted my life, if this has changed my story, I want you to be part of it as well. I want you to benefit from it as well. So that eagerness to teach, is always there. That eagerness to share knowledge, to share what I know with other people has always been there. That aside.
Wow.
Then apart from that, I am a very vocal person, but with the way I speak, you will even know that I like speaking. I am that girl that you will call a talkative when I was small. I love talking. I just love talking. I just love expressing myself, with words. And, like for someone who is coming from an African home, our parents don't really appreciate a talkative. They see you as, you talk too much, go and sit down, you talk too much. And because people see me as a talkative, at a point in my life, I begin to think about how can I divert this talking energy into something more meaningful. And also because I also love teaching, so the two just came together. And when social media became a thing in 2015, of course, social media has been before then, but when I began to use social media around 2013, 2014, I was just doing my normal personal stuff. But in 2015, I attended one particular training. It was an emotional intelligence training, and I really loved the way the training went. I learned a lot, and I felt I can share. Like I told you, once I know something, I always want to share. So I just jumped on Facebook and I started sharing some of my experience, or some of the knowledge I got from that particular training. So I was sharing them bit by bit. And one thing about teaching, the more you teach, the more you know. In fact, the more you teach, the more you want to even teach more, because one thing will just keep leading to another, and before you know it, you just keep going on and on and on. And that was exactly what happened. So if I talk about something today, and people are asking me questions, I go to research more about that thing. I come to tomorrow again to talk about it more and more. And before you know it, everybody started calling me coach. And I'm like, coach, how? How did I get here? I'm not a coach. That was in 2015. I'm not a coach. I'm just sharing what I know. And before you know it, people started inviting me for for a speaking engagement. They'll say, oh, we have this conference in our church. We have this youth program in our church. Can you please come? And that was how I started going for speaking engagement. I started speaking in different events. And at a point I just felt this thing is looking real, it's becoming a thing. So this all influence and impact journey is not something that was calculated. It wasn't something that was deliberate. So were the things that led me to where I am right now. So at a point I said, okay, I think people love what I'm doing. I think I am good because I get a lot of positive feedback, a lot of accolade. Oh, when you came to our church, in fact, in most places when I start speaking, they don't want me to stop. They will just, oh, continue, just keep speaking, just continue, because they enjoy the way I speak, the way I break down the way I break down things that look very difficult in the eyes of people. The way I break it down, the way I simplify things, make it very enjoyable. So sometimes they will just say, just continue, we are enjoying you, just continue. So at a point, I also began to embrace the fact that I have something to offer. I am a valuable individual. And I started registering for trainings here and there. I'll sign up for content creation course, public speaking course. And that was how the journey began. Gradually, before I now got to where I am right now today.
Wow, amazing. That's so beautiful. And you know how the Bible says it, that a man's gift will make room
Make
for
room
him.
for him.
And
Yeah.
the more you explore your gifts, the more it's going to continue to. And look at it, the desire was just there, and
There.
it began to make room. You didn't even know there was anything called coach, and then people gave you
No,
that
I
label.
never knew. In fact,
Imagine.
calling me coach was when I knew there is something called coach. Because for me,
Wow.
I used to think coach is just for people who coach footballers.
The sport,
You know,
honestly,
the sport
me too,
people.
for the
Yes.
longest time, honestly. For the longest time, honestly. That is so amazing. And you said something that growing up in an African setting, generally, even families, parents, they can't understand why a child is a talkative. So can you take us on that journey? What was it like growing up as somebody that loved to talk? What were those moments that felt like, maybe I need to buy padlock and just padlock with my mouth, or get a tailor to sew me
Stitch
on
my
it.
mouth.
You know what? Because somebody is out there that is also experiencing exactly what you went through. How were you able to now? Because there's something that I always ask my coaching clients, and I say, are you quiet or were you silenced?
Very
Are you
profound.
quiet or were you silenced? Do you understand? Because now, obviously, you are not quiet.
No.
And obviously, you didn't get silenced. So how did you do it? Because many people like us that are vocal, that are bold, that are able to stand their ground, that are able to speak their mind, the society doesn't take them lightly. It's always like you are the one that is going against the grain. So please help us navigate this. How did you navigate it? Because someone out there needs to hear this.
Okay, like I said, I did not really face a lot of criticism as it is. But once in a while, just friends, and most times it did not even come from my immediate family. Most times it comes from the outside. Well, you talk too much. You're a girl. Don't be talking like this. And like you said, are you quiet or were you silenced?
Were you silent?
I wanted to be silenced at the point. But the more I try to be silent, the more I can't. I just discovered that I can't. It's something that is inside of me. Like I said, when I know something, there's just this fire burning. Like there's just this. And when I teach you, whether you pay me or you don't pay me, when I first started out, I have this joy that well up inside of me. I have this excitement, as if I have done something phenomenal, as if I have just broken a record. So I have this joy right inside of me. If I am sad now and I jump on teaching, in fact, at a point it became like therapy for me. When I'm not feeling too cool, I just look for someone to teach, or I just go online and go live and start teaching. By the time I am done, I am perfect. I am energized. I tell you. So it was really difficult for me to be silenced because it is just inborn. Sometimes I will just tell my friends, I'll tell them, I want to be quiet. I want to be an introvert like you people. I don't want to be talking. Sometimes they'll
Wow.
say, we know you can't do it. I'll
Wow.
say, don't worry. This time around, I promise I will do it. I
I
will not
love
be
that.
talking like I used to.
Wow.
But the more I
Wow.
try, the more difficult it gets. And at a point, I
Wow.
just begin to think that this is actually a blessing. Instead of seeing it
Yeah.
as a problem, instead of allowing people to name it or label it for me as a disadvantage,
Exactly.
I begin to see it
Exactly.
as an advantage. And what I tell myself is I'm going to leverage this same thing that people think is a disadvantage. I'm going to leverage it and use it to make influence, to build influence and make impact. And
Hmm.
that was why I just
Amazing.
shunned the idea of me trying to change or anything. I just embrace who
Hmm.
I am. I embrace my personality. I embrace my God-given talent, and I just want to explore with
Hmm.
it. And that's all.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. And as you were talking that, you had that burning. You just wanted, and it just reminded me of the scripture, out of your belly shall
Belly
flow
shall
rivers
flow
of
rivers
living
of
water.
living waters.
Imagine, you're feeling sad and out of your belly you are teaching and it is energizing you and it is also edifying other people. That is so profound on another level. And it just opens my eyes to the fact some gifts are as visible as yours, but some people, their own is not as visible as that. So it's just quite difficult for them to know what should they be overflowing of. What should they be overflowing of? You understand? Because it just giving me so many perspectives right now. Because now it's easy for somebody that loves to talk to say, oh, when I talk, I feel this way, I help other people and all of that. But somebody that is an introvert is looking at us and saying, look at them, talkatives. They, they like to talk, but we that we like to keep everything inside of us. What did God now do for us? What should we now do with that? As a coach, what would you tell that kind of person that is feeling left out? Like, okay, our own is not talking, no, but how do we know what should be flowing out of? Because like, I can totally relate with what you said. I love it when I'm in the midst of people and I'm just able to turn on the lights in their lives, if you get
Mm.
what I mean.
Yeah,
Just step into a room and then just light up the whole place
light
and
up the
just like,
room.
hey, how is everybody doing? And just say something nice about you, give you a compliment, and just brighten you up. It's like a gardener. You just touch this flower and you just prune it, and it's just looking all beautiful and all of that. So when somebody is feeling like, that's not my own talent, though. So how do I find my own talent and how do I navigate this space of, okay, so something that I can actually give to other people as well? It might not be the gift of talking, it might just be the gift of whatever. But how can people like that recognize what they have that is in abundance and they can actually give to the world that is free to them?
Okay, thank you very much. So, like you said, everyone will not be someone who will talk. Everyone will not be a public speaker. Everyone will not be an influencer who is out there, you know, doing our stuff or doing his stuff. But one thing we all need to realize is that we all have potentials. There's nobody that God created on this earth that doesn't have something inside of him or her to give to the
Mm,
world. All you need to do is
mm,
identify it. Now, how do you identify it? Like I have said for mine, one of the ways you can use to identify this gift is that what is that thing that you enjoy doing? Whether you are
mm,
paid or not, it gives you so much joy and pleasure. You need to
mm,
search. So it's like you are doing a soul searching. You are doing like some
mm,
introspection. You are trying to dig deep into yourself because sincerely, nobody can do that part of it for you. You have to be the one to
mm,
identify, to fish it out by yourself. So look
mm,
inward and ask yourself, what is that thing that I do? It can be something as simple as planning. You're a good planner.
mm,
When you want to do things, you're just very good. In fact, when somebody wants to do something, they will say, oh, go and call her. She has a way of planning everything for you and everything will be
mm,
on point. That is a gift. You don't have to be out
mm.
there, blowing your trumpet on social media or be an influencer or be a social media person before you use that gift to bless the world. Have you
Mm,
seen people that they want to do events and they are confused? They don't even know what to do. And someone just step in as an event planner or as a planner, even as a friend, to say, you know what, I will help you. Let me give you a good example. Recently, my friend had a wedding in Nigeria. In fact, I have to fly to Nigeria. Thank God I flew to Nigeria because I had just finished Tiba in Nigeria. I just flew back to Cote d'Ivoire. And it was just like 2 weeks after that she was having her wedding. So I was even still thinking, should I go? Should I not go? Looking at the expenses, looking at the flight tickets and every other thing. I was just like, I just spent a lot, going to Nigeria and coming back. Should I go? Should I not go? But she's just a very good friend that I cannot just say I will not go. So I said, okay, you know what? I'll go. And I went for that event. And, after the whole thing, I just kept saying, thank God I was there. Thank God I was there. Because apart from the fact that I do all those things that I do on social media, I am also a very good planner. I plan things. In fact, I was telling somebody because I'll be clocking 40, and the person was already asking me, what's the plan? Where are we going? What's happening? And I'm like, he said, no, I know you. You are a good plan. You would have put everything. And lo and behold, he was right. Right there when we were chatting, I just sent something to him. I just said, I've planned everything. I put it on flyer. Everything is ready.
No, you.
And he was just like, I know now. It's not you.
The photo shoot is ready.
I am telling you. He said it's not you. Something that I know you would have been planning for a year before now. You not tell me there is no plan on ground. You can't even give me that crap.
About your podcast over a year ago.
You understand? So I have this gift of planning things too. I plan way ahead of my thing. I just have this way of. So when I was at the event, I helped her to do a whole lot of things that ordinarily, sincerely, if I was not there, I'm not just trying to hype myself, but sincerely, if I was not there, I cannot really picture how the whole thing would look like. Because, for a traditional wedding, I already planned. I didn't even tell her. I already had like 2 nylon bags folded in my bag that I knew that I would be using to help her pick money. Do you know that when we got to where they were dancing, I was the only one that was prepared for that particular thing. I'm telling you. And she had a lot of friends. They were just dancing. Immediately they started spraying her money. I just removed my nylon from my bag, gave my bag to someone. I started picking money. You will not believe that. Right there, I was the only one that was picking money for her. It was so stressful. And you know what? The drummers, all these traditional drummers, they were picking her money. Because I couldn't, they were spraying her left, right, and center.
The others couldn't still join you.
They couldn't join me. Imagine. So in my mind, I was like, thank God I'm here. Thank God I even put nylon in my bag. Thank God I foresee that this kind of thing is going to happen and she's going to need my help. And, something like that. So for a lot of people, you might not be there out on social media, but all this kind of small things, when people know that I have a friend, I have an acquaintance that I can always, lean on, that can always help me figure things out. And all through the event, I was just there for her. In fact, it was that was on Thursday. The engagement was on Thursday. The wedding was on Saturday. That was when we finished the engagement. All the friends, they've left. She and the husband were the only one. I stayed till everybody left. I stayed till she entered into her own car. I helped her remove her bead, help her remove her shoe. I was there till everything ended. And after the whole thing, she was just like, she just called me and she just, raining accolades on me. Like everybody told me, even my other friends told me how you were everywhere. Thank you. She was just like, and I knew that sincerely, if I was not there, a lot of things would have gone wrong. A lot of things would have gone wrong. So I'm sorry for that digression to that story, but what I'm trying to say,
somebody must have pulled it out of you.
Yes, so something like that, planning, having a foresight, being able to be proactive, being able to think ahead. For some people, it is smile. You don't even know how much your smile can lift the room, can change a mood, can impact life. So sometimes it's not singing, dancing, writing content. It's not all those big things that we always put our mind on. Something as counsel, something as simple as a listening ear. It's not everybody that have the gift of listening. Some people, when you take their problem to them, they will not say, oh, your own is even better. In fact, if you see what happened to me yesterday, and you're like, can you allow me to talk? Can you just permit me to say something? Can you just listen? For some people, they will not
Empathy.
even say
Empathy.
a word. Empathy. They will not just say a
Ah,
word. They will just be there listening to everything. And by the time you're done, they'll just tell you everything is going to be fine. You will be okay. That's
telling
because
you.
that person at
That's
that time does not even need your advice. They just need
at all.
someone to
It's
listen to
already
them.
on board, honestly.
And that's all.
Wow.
So
Wow.
sometimes when we are talking about impact, when you're talking about influence, it's not just about the big, big things that we used to put our eyes on. They might be as
Mm-hmm.
simple as a listening ear, a beautiful
Mm,
smile, the gift of
mm,
foresight, the ability to plan and see
mm.
ahead, and so many other things that I cannot really mention here. So
Yeah.
all you need to do is just look at what gives you joy. Check.
Mm,
What is that thing that when I do it, I am overwhelmed with joy? I feel so
mm,
satisfied with myself. I feel so
mm,
good.
mm,
What is that thing that whether I am paid for it or
mm.
not? In fact, it was later in my
Yeah.
journey I started monetizing what I was doing. In fact, it was one of the
Mm.
problem I had earlier when I started out because a lot of people just rose up against me and said, "How dare you give people for free what we are monetizing? How dare you?" And
Imagine
they
that.
want to start fighting me. So
Wow.
sometimes it's not just about the money for me.
No.
About that
No.
impact. It's about somebody
Mm,
coming back to say, you know what, that thing that you taught me that time or that thing that you did
mm,
that time really helped me,
mm,
really
mm-hmm,
impacted me. So
mm,
impact is not limited to all these art skills that we use to put our eyes on. Impact
mm.
can come in any shape and form. All you need to do is
Exactly.
sit down, identify
Mm.
yourself, and begin to explore it. That's all.
Amazing. Amazing. And you said something about hard skills and soft skills. You need to
Yes.
be able to identify, and I think soft skills is one of the things that is really like scarce in the
Cause
world
yeah.
that we live in today because people are not tuning in to find gifts like the gifts of listening, the gifts of
Mm.
empathy, the gift of a
Empathy.
smile, all the things that you mentioned, that are things that people seemingly trivialize.
Mm.
And I think it's something that, that's one should be one of the things that we take away from this conversation today. You know, that soft skill. What is the soft skill that you have that can actually, you know, change somebody's life
Mm.
in the minutest way that you never even imagined
Imagine a
possible.
think of.
I'm telling you, and to add to what you said, as you were speaking, I remembered listening to Rolake Akinkugbe Filani, or I think that's her name, recently. She's a very tall woman,
Okay.
maybe like 6 foot, and she said when she was young, that was what everybody teased her about, to the point that she had to start bending to fit
Bending.
in,
Hmm.
to the point that it gave her a back problem.
Hmm.
And now, but she has fixed the back. And now that she is older and mature, she can see that, wow, this is actually an advantage because anywhere she
Advantage.
steps into, all heads are turning that who
Turning.
is this?
So
Who is
woman.
this? Do you understand? And she said it's so good that now that we are in the age of selfies, our hand is usually the longest when everyone is trying to take pictures that can capture everybody in the
Everybody
group.
in the group. Yeah.
As in, do you know how intricately designed, as in how God was so intentional in how
Wow.
He made you? Imagine height was part of our assignment. It
Hmm.
was part of the brand that God had in mind for her.
For her.
Do you understand? And for you, Adiola, it's obvious that your brand, your speaking was part of what God had in mind for the brand that He was making you to be.
Hmm.
So as in if all of us can, like you said, if all of us can just sit down, because sometimes I'm not, and I'm pointing that it can be somebody is saying that okay, all of those things that you are saying, I don't have them. So what do you now have? Because Jesus said it, even that which you have will be taken away from you. Because the truth is that God did not make you empty. Imagine something as interesting as height. And you need to tune out what the naysayers are saying because
Hmm.
people demonize what they don't understand.
Understand.
Once they don't understand it, or once you don't fit in, they try to. Why should you have to fit when you can stand out?
Hmm.
God has made you to stand out. So can you please just stand out and just shine? Because like, do you understand? Like, and I really loved how you have broken down, all of those what's it called now? How to identify what makes you the light. And now that brings me to the iconic brand. The iconic brand. Like, ah, the Tiba. Ah, like the African icon. It's just, please, you need to just tell us where that came from, because that is a whole entity on
Episode
its own.
on its own.
That is a whole movement. Do you understand? How did you metamorphose from, oh, you talk too much, to becoming the coach, to becoming the TEDx organizer, and now
Finally, to becoming Timber.
to that level. And like you just said, you are still in your 30s, by the way.
Yes, yes.
Until further notice, you
On
are still in
further
your
notice,
30s.
yes, yes, yes.
So please, and because it just shows, and like I always say, and like I've been saying on this podcast, if some people don't see people like you, they don't see the possibility. They don't know that you are actually allowed. If you don't need anybody to give you permission. You need to give yourself the permission to be an icon. While have you seen an icon living? That song just came into my head right now. Do you understand? But you can actually be an icon living. You can actually be a legend in your own right. Because like, look at all the things that we have said right now. And you're just turning 40 in a couple of weeks. But see all the things that you have achieved. So can you please tell us about this iconic brand? How did it come to be? How did you birth it? What inspired it? How did it become? Because this is just the evolution of your personal brand. Because if we are going to talk about on which mountain you are standing, from everything that you have said, it's a mixture of education, personal branding, um, personal
Even
development.
media.
So just tell us the mountain on which you are standing and why the iconic brand had to be like currently the peak of the expression of your personal brand.
Okay, thank you. So, like I said, when I was trying to narrate my journey from the beginning, so when people started calling me coach, I tried to get training here and there, register for this course, take this training, and I just set the ball rolling. And I said, you know what? I think I can do more than just showing up on social media, Facebook. Then actually, I can do more than this. I can actually have my own, little academy online where I put people together and, begin to train them what I want or what I know. So then I've been able to identify, because of the many trainings I've gone through, I've been able to identify where I fall, which is personal development space, because of the things I talk about. They are so much related to personal development. So I talk about emotional intelligence. I talk about relationship management, how to build relationship with people, how to manage it, how to nurture it, and so many other things. So those are the things I was talking about at that time. And I decided to come up with an academy. Then it used to be PCD Academy. I call it PCD, Personal and Career Development Academy. So I started there. It was free training. Every Saturday like this, I would just come online, teach them everything I know, put ebooks together, give them this and that was it. So it was free. I did that for almost like a year. And so after I said, you know what, I think it will be good. So at a point towards the end of the year, I said, it will be good for us to meet each other, since we've been doing this thing online for a very long time and most of us have not even seen each other. Can we just do like a get together, like an hangout, so that we can, meet and greet and all that? And that was the idea. So, and sometimes you don't really have a solid plan for something. One thing just keep leading to another, to another, to another, and before you know it, everything is full blown. So that was the idea. The idea was just to get together. And later, I thought of, okay, we can actually give ourselves an award for some of you that have been doing well during the course of the year, some of you that submit your assignments on time, some of you that show up on time. We can actually give award. And that was it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
by the time the planning was just going on and on, I just discovered that this is more than an hangout or a meet and greet
Wow.
thing. This is going to be because everybody now show interest. It was not very much acceptable than I even ever thought. A lot of people were showing interest. Oh, this is beautiful. We are interested. The support was just massive. And before you
Wow.
know it, it used to be the Iconic Brand Awards before. So the Iconic Brand Awards, Tiba just came up, and we had the first edition in 2019. It was so beautiful. I remember that time, the whole of Facebook, because it's not like I'm hyping, but as at then, it wasn't a thing among my clique. Among the people that we are on the same level doing the same thing together. It wasn't a thing. So it was just like I just break from nowhere and just did that event.
Honestly.
And it was a very
Wow.
beautiful event. The very first one, people came. I remember a particular lady came from Benin, brought maybe like 7 or 5 of her friends. People came from
Serious
Ondo.
matter.
I'm telling you,
Ah,
the whole world all was jam packed. The outside there was an overflow. I was like, I didn't know. I
like
didn't
making let
plan.
you.
I didn't plan this. In fact, we had 2 red carpets. We had a lot of
Wow.
support. People were just like, oh, we're interested. Cake. Somebody gave us cake for free. Somebody sponsored the drinks. And like that, everything just made
Wow.
sense. By the time we finished the events, people just flooded the social media with pictures. Oh, Tiba this, Tiba that. And that was when I knew that, this thing is now something really serious. Oh. And that was it. So we had the first edition in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. About 2022, we had one in Lagos. We had one in London as well. I came to London to do one.
It's serious matter.
It's a serious
Wow.
matter. So we had 2022, we had 2023, and in 2024, we had to change the board. So the people I was working with, probably they were tired at that time. Probably we just needed a change. I just knew that, according to the direction of God, I just knew that it was time for us to change hands. So I brought a new set of people to support me. I brought like maybe 6 people, then another 5 people, making 11 or 12 people. So, and when these people came as the board of directors, they were like, we cannot be using the whole of the year to plan just one single event. You are a coach already. You're already doing all this training, webinar, and everything you've been doing. And this is an event that caters for awards and recognition. Why not just put everything together to make it a learning and development hub? At the same time, we'll still be doing our awards and conference and so many other things, and that was how they came up with something that we need to do more than just doing award every year. We need to come up with something. I remember that particular day when we finished that board meeting, I was so disturbed. I was like,
Wow.
they want to change Tiba. They want to change
They,
Tiba.
they want to change it. Wow.
I'm telling you. So they said we should come up with something else. And Tiba is the Iconic Brand Awards. So I began to think, what do we want to change it to? Because that name Tiba, I'm the only one that know how much energy, investment, time, and resources that have gone into that brand. So I remember that night I couldn't sleep well. It was a Saturday. On Sunday I went to church. All the things they were doing in the church, nothing was entering my head. I
Your
was just
mind
like,
was just troubled.
how would I? Because I don't want them to change that name from Tiba. Because
Wow.
that name has really gone, not really gone far, but has really,
But at least,
it has done something in the mind of people. People now know us little by little, Tiba, it. And, I just went to Instagram that day, that particular Sunday. God forgive me. It was in the middle of the service, because I was not concentrating.
oh wow.
I just went to Instagram and I just saw something Africa.
Africa.
It just clicked
Wow.
that. Instead of changing the name outrightly and we have to start from the scratch, we can actually do the Iconic Brand Africa and just remove the award and integrate every other thing that we want to do inside of it. Immediately,
Oh
I just
my God.
started the chairperson for that board, for the board of directors. I just said, Omotola, something just came to my mind that this. She was like, Mita, that's it. You got it. You did. I was so happy. I was just like, oh, thank God. So by the time I gave her that idea, she fed on it. She now, began to add some flesh to it. And by the time we came back from church in the evening, she came up with a lot of other things around it that made a lot of sense.
Wow.
And I was just like, wow, thank God. So yeah, from the Iconic Brand Award, we just pivot into the Iconic Brand Africa. And that
Oh
is the
wow.
story behind Tiba. Tiba,
Oh
so
wow.
since then we've been doing
That story was so beautiful. It's, I mean, it was as if I was on the journey with you. I could feel the
feel
twists and the
the
turns and the
energy,
ups and the downs and the gallop. I
the
was just like,
potholes,
okay, where are we
everything.
going to enter? Where will we land? And oh my God, I'm so glad that I asked that question, because that it just tells us that God is in the detail of
It's in the
everything
detail,
that we do
yeah.
with our lives.
He is.
That
He is.
small nudge of, call that person now. Can you at least
Mm.
call the person?
Mm.
Okay, do that small gathering now. See, small gathering, small get
Get
together.
that
Hey God, it became a global brand.
brand.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing. And as you were just talking, a lot of things were just coming to my mind. And I was having some reflections about some things recently. And what I just concluded on was the fact that you just need to show up and be yourself.
Mm.
You just need to show up and be your best self. The world will adjust.
Just, yeah.
Because what were the odds of you trying to be somebody else? How would you have arrived on this mountain?
Mm.
How would it have been? Because now it looks like, how is Adeola doing all of these things? It's never easy, but the journey is just always so full of a lot of energy, a lot of, because it's something that is flowing out of you, out of your original
So,
design.
yeah.
And I think that is the anchor of this conversation today, sticking to your original design. What has God designed you to be? In a world where everybody is trying to fix you into something that you are not, can you unlock your original design and actually show up as the original version of what God has called you to be? Because I think that is when we can truly excel as Christians in the marketplace. I think that is when we can truly become. That's when we can truly metamorphose, because nothing tells you when you see a pupa that it can become a butterfly. There is nothing ever in it that tells you that it is going to become a butterfly. Nothing could have told those people that were telling you to keep quiet that this is what this talking
It's going to become
is
later.
going to become. And it's just amazing. It's just so amazing. And talking about original design, sticking to your original design, digging deep out of yourself, the treasure that God has kept inside of you, albeit the society has layered a whole lot of other shenanigans on it. Can you remove all of those things that they have layered on your original design and actually find your core self? So now my question to you, Adeola, is, in all of this, what has been your Jesus experience? At what point did you know that if it had not been for the Lord, if it had not been for the Lord, because everybody's hearing like, I'm Olowoni, she's a rich kid, you know. After all, is she not an accountant? She has a 9 to 5. That is, there is all of this mentality
Assumption.
that we hold as people as an assumption. And this conversation, I want it to have some paradigm shifts for people that are sniggering, like, that's how they always say it. You get, like, at what point did you know that if it had not been for the Lord, what has been your Jesus experience on this bumpy ride of purpose, on
Mm.
this bumpy ride of going to this mountain and shining your light so brightly that, you know, it runs the devils back into their hiding?
Okay, it's been a journey, to be very honest. It's been a journey. It's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of
Mm,
adversity. In fact, at a point, I just had to just leave everything for God, because I remember that in 2023, the Tiba event we had in 2023 didn't go as planned. Everything just scattered.
Wow.
Everything just went south. And at
Wow.
that point, I started feeling very, very bad. I started feeling like, who sent me message? Why am I even doing this thing I'm doing? I
Hmm.
remember that right from the hall that we had the event, I cried till I got home. A week, two
Hmm.
weeks later, I was still crying. It was that bad.
Hmm.
It's like you have invested your energy. It's not something I'm doing for the first time. Everybody were just disappointed. The hall people, even my
Hmm.
fashion designer, the caterer, everything just went south. It was as if the
Hmm.
whole world was against me. And
Wow.
it was as if some people were just in one corner, doing one thing to just make sure that everything collapsed and nothing worked. And at that
Wow.
point, I remember saying something to my PA when I was in Lagos before I came back to Cote d'Ivoire. I said, I'll go back to God and I will ask him again, did you send me this work I'm doing? If God tell me that he did not send me, maybe I'm the one that is just sending myself.
Hmm.
Sincerely, I will honorably drop this thing I'm doing, because at this point, I am tired.
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm done, like really,
Hmm.
really done. It was really bad. I was in a bad place for months. In fact, I had to shut down on social media. I could not even show up on social media for almost 4 months. I was just in a bad
Wow.
place. And when I got back to Cote d'Ivoire, I was still crying every day. Where I woke up in the morning,
Hmm.
crying, sleep. I was just because I was pained that I have invested a lot of energy, even financial resources, even
Invested your
personal.
life.
Yes, even personal resources, even some things I have to put on hold, just because I want to see this thing go well. And eventually it didn't go well. And I remember telling God, praying, telling God that, God, if you don't want me to do this, then I will stop. Just tell me. I've already made up my mind. I'm not going to do it again. But as
Hmm.
a Jesus baby, I just need that confirmation. I just need that
Hmm.
validation from God to say that, you know what,
Hmm.
I am with you on this journey. You can stop.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can
Oh my
stop.
God.
You can stop.
That's
You
a
can
sweet.
just. And so I started praying.
Wow.
I remember the first time I just pick up myself to say, I cannot continue like this. I need to pick up myself and move. I had
Hmm.
a week prayer and fasting with a friend. This friend I just got married. I went to her, I poured out my mind. She was like, you know what, Diola, let's pray. Let's pray. Let's just pray. Let's pray. So we
Hmm.
kept praying, we kept praying, we kept praying for a week. We were doing vigil. It was during the holiday period, so we were not going to work. We were just camping, praying, praying, praying. After that, I started another prayer and fasting for 50 days. I remember I was just praying. And one thing about God is that He's so consistent. When
Hmm.
Chinwo said, you're consistent in all your ways.
No,
He's a
no,
consistent God. He's not a dilly-dally God. He's not
no.
someone that will tell you yes today and tomorrow will come back and say no.
Hmm.
He's so consistent.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
everything that he was saying at that point, he was saying, you cannot stop. You
Hmm.
cannot quit. Once in a while, when I just say, let me go to social media and even see what is happening, I will just see it is not time for you to quit. A lot of people are looking at you. A lot of destiny are hanging on your shoulder. This
Oh
one. I
wow.
will close it. I will run away again. I say, God.
Like say, what is this?
In
Can
fact,
I
there was a
breathe?
particular day I went to Facebook randomly. I just saw one particular short
Hmm.
video. The short video, I watched it for like maybe 5 minutes. And the Holy Spirit said, you need to go and look for that video on YouTube and you need to watch it. I remember the title of that video is University of Tears. I can never
Wow.
forget. It was as if God told that man to write that story because he knew I would need it at that time that I was watching it.
Wow.
So
Wow.
as I got the instruction, go and watch this video. I just went to YouTube, search for the video, University of Tears, and I started watching. I watched part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4.
Wow. Ah.
It was exactly what was happening to me at that
Oh
point.
wow.
And solution was there. Do this, do this. The
Oh
instructions
my
were there.
God.
It was at that
God
time
is
I
so
just
intentional
wrote down
about us.
tears and I said, God, is it my fault? I said, I'm not doing it again. Is it my fault? I'm telling you, I was in the house alone that day. I was crying. I said, is it my
Wow.
fault? I said, I'm not doing it again. Why are you hunting me up and down with video, with testimonial, with things? What is it? I remember, in
Oh
fact,
my God.
apart from that, the last one now. A particular pastor in our church, I don't talk to him. We don't talk on WhatsApp. I never even exchanged any pleasantry with him. Maybe once a while we just call to say, we did not see you in church. Oh, he has never tested me before on WhatsApp. I was on my own that day. He just sent this random video. And to even crown it, it's a video of a preacher that I respect so much, that I hold in high esteem, that I will not do in a week without listening to him. In fact, over the night, I was still listening to him. When I was praying the night, I was tired. I just allowed the thing to be playing. Let it just be entering my ears small, small. I am in love.
Tell us the name now. Tell us the name now. Don't hide the glory of the Lord.
Okay,
Give us the inside gist. Only
the
some
person is
police.
Apostle Joshua Selman.
My spirit said it must be.
I am a lover of that man. I'm a lover of the word
Wow.
he preach and everything he stands for.
Amazing.
So this is a man that I love so much. In fact, if you're close to me, if you're on my WhatsApp status, you will know that without any doubt, I love this man. I love listening to him and all that, because his doctrine, his ministry just tie with the kind of faith that I have. It's not this kind of people that will be confusing people up and down. So that was the same video that this man sent to me from the blues. I can tell you categorically that that's the only video, that's the first and the only link of video that this man will ever send to me. Since I have been in Cote d'Ivoire now for over 7 years, he has never sent anything. He's my pastor, he's the assistant pastor in my church. For you to know that he's not a stranger. So randomly, he just sent that link, he just forwarded it to me, bam. I don't even want to click it, but I just said, let me click. So when I click, I saw that it's Apostle Selman. I just, let me watch. He's my favorite preacher. I just sat and watched the same message. The generation are looking up to you. This one. I say, God, what's going on here? It was at that point that I just knew that God is in this story. Maybe I've been doubting before. I am not so sure before. At that point, I just knew that God is in this story. And I just started getting a lot of messages around you are in your time of, you are in your process. You are in your time of learning. You are in your stage of building capacity and strength. I was just receiving different. I can remember my notepad was filled with instructions. And as I moved, the journey was clear. And that was the time I also got the instruction that I need to change my board of directors. And look at it. Immediately I changed it. Everything just changed.
The cloud cleared. Oh my God.
It was amazing. These people brought a lot of energy into the room. They brought a lot of phenomenal ideas. Some things I've been struggling with for years. They just came and said, let's do it like this, let's do it. And as we were doing it, it was making sense. We were moving, it was making sense. So to an extent that one day my daughter was listening to one of the conversations we had and said, I like these people that you just brought on board. They have energy, they like Tiba, they have passion. And I was just like, that's it. And trust me, 2024 was an amazing year. And I think for everyone listening to this, when God is speaking, listen. He's always having our best interest at that. Sometimes it might look like it's difficult. You just pause. You just ask him. Because I remember vividly. I told him, I said, God, you see what? You know what? You asked me to go on. You said, no problem. It's my testing period. It's my process period, learning period. No problem. But you know what? This 2024 is last time I'm giving you. If this thing doesn't work this time around, I'm not doing it again.
I'm done.
I am done for you. This is the last chance I'm giving you. And God said we should hold him by his word. We should prove him wrong. And it did surpass my expectation. The ideas were just coming. Everything I've been struggling with, it would just come like an idea. It would just say, do this, do it like this. And it was making sense. 2024 was an amazing year. And it was at that point I just knew that God is in this story. He's in this detail. He knows about this. And he really wants me to do this because, like I said, I told him, I said, God, if this is not working again in 2024, I am not doing this again. And he proved himself even more than I expected. More than I ever expected. I remember 2024 event that we had, people came. People came to the extent that there was no space. This is the same event that we had in 2023 that we hardly got maybe 40 people to come. It was a lot of struggle. People came in 2024 to the extent that there was no space. We were going to run out of space. We had to quickly be rearranging the chair to accommodate more people. It was amazing. Beautiful event. Phenomenal people. High caliber people. I remember a particular woman did not want to come because she's a very big person. And she was like, who are the people that are coming for that event? Is this person coming? Is this person not coming? You know, the person attending to us just said, don't worry, madam. When you come, you will know that it's not just anyhow people that are here. Amazing people like you are also going to be coming and all that. Sluggishly or maybe reluctantly, she shall come with her PA. And by the time the event finished, she was like, are you the one that organized this? You know? Are you the one, like this you, this small you? You know, she didn't say it expressly, but she was like, are you the one that just
her spirit left her like the Queen of Sheba.
I'm telling you, like you put this whole thing together. I said, yes, ma'am. She hugged me so tightly. She was like, I need to talk to you. We need to talk. We need to meet. She gave me a card immediately. After that, I went to her office for a courtesy visit. In fact, when my PA was going with me, she was like, who are we going to meet? That protocol and security and I mean, that is how God showed up and showed off. The event was so beautiful, well put together. Every loophole, before we even get there, God will just make provision to just cover up. It was so beautiful. The testimonial, the feedback was so amazing. And it is just to tell us that sometimes we might go through some difficult moments in our journey. It doesn't mean that God is not with us. He's with us. All we need to do is just go back to Him and ask Him, God, how do you want me to do it again this time around? Because I remember that years before, I used to think, I've done this before. I've been doing it for years. What is there? You know, using the same strategy, using my whole head wisdom to even fight some things and figure things out. But at that point that I surrendered, I said, God, you know what? Just take the wheel. Just take the wheel. Just do what you want to do. And at that point of surrender, He came in fully and He started giving me instruction. Do this. Talk to this person. Do this. Call this person. Do this. Do this. And before you know it, everything made sense. So yeah, God is in the story and He's always with us. He has never left. We we just need to turn to Him and ask Him for ask Him for solutions to our problems.
That was an amazing, mind-blowing Jesus experience.
Because
it took you through the whole 9 yards. And it's only God that can actually strengthen you to be able to come out. And you know what the Bible says? For He knoweth the path that I take. When He had tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Wow. And when you are going through a refining process, it's never funny.
It's not funny.
It's never funny. It's never funny. Wow.
If God is giving you an idea, it doesn't mean it will be 100% perfect. People are too busy with their life for them to live their life and come and be doing stuff with you. So, whatever will make people live their own stuff is that. I just have this curiosity to know God more. And on top of that, as a Jesus girl, I'm in love of God. I love God so much. I cannot express how much I love God. I love God so much. I had my first speaking engagement, and as I was speaking about branding. But they were asking me a few things about my personal life. And sincerely, you cannot ask me anything personal, and I will not mention Holy Spirit 10 times because I really cannot move without Him. The Bible is the word of God, and it can become dicey sometimes. So you really need the guidance of the Holy Spirit, and you really need a good teacher to be able to break it out for you. At a particular 1 year, I was telling the people with me that please just be patient with me. I know this thing is not making sense right now, but please don't say this. I promise you this is going to make sense. Guys, it's just take few people that God have really orchestrated for your life to stay. Naturally, not everybody will stay. As a Christian, you need to shine our lights. Of what use is a candle that is lit and put under the bushel? The Bible says we are the light of the world. We are like a mountain set on the hill. We are like a city set on the hilltop that can never be hidden. So the days of I don't want everybody to know me. I want just to be in my corner. Yeah, you can be in your corner and still shine. But this one you are shining your light. So what is the best thing to show that people should support you? The saying is that when God is in the picture, when God is in the story, He's the one that will hold your hand when things get tough. The only principality I had to wrestle with was my mom. I started immediately, my mom was against me. My sister. That was how I belonged to my mom.
And that is the end of part 1. Thank you for watching. Don't
forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for this channel so that you will be the first to know when the next part 2 of the episode drops. And until next time, stay blessed.